Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. You all know that we've been going back and forth about Hurricane Helen, right? And a lot of people are looking for a way to put the blame on Kamala Harris, but I really do not understand how people are shifting blame. Now, the full list of Republicans who voted against FEMA's relief before the Hurricane Helene happened, has actually been published. And I am going to tell you that some of your favorites are actually there, including Senator Tim Scott. Senator Tim Scott is also there. Margie Taylor Greene is there. Ted Cruz is there. I think Laura Buba is there. See, as much as we all know that a presidential election is very important, I want you all to know that a local election is also very important, because we also have to start from the local grass, like, from the local to the top. If not, they are absolutely going to frustrate whoever that is going to be the president, because some people always feel like, the local election is not very important. It is very, very important. So if you do not like what is going on, make sure you are ready to change it. Stay glued. Let's get into
I need you all to hear me when I say this. If you're one of the people that's getting online right now and saying that FEMA's only giving out $750 in assistance, or that FEMA's out of money because they've been diverting it towards the border or for migrants, or that FEMA is confiscating donations and money, fuck you. And I mean that to the depths of my soul, with every fiber of my being. Because the only thing that tells me when you say shit like that is that you have been so fortunate to never have to use FEMA, to never have gone through something like this. I cannot describe to you the level of rage I have experienced over the last few days, watching y'all spread this mis and disinformation that will get people killed, that will keep people from getting the money and resources that they need to recover. There are multiple programs that you can apply for. Do you want to know how I know that? Because after Ian 2 years ago, that $750 is immediate assistance. That shit showed up in my account 6 hours after I applied for it. I applied for an SBA disaster loan for my business. There are multiple ways you can access money. There are multiple agencies. Do you want to know why FEMA is being tied to the border right now? Because it's under the control of the Department of Homeland Security, DHS. Do you want to know who did that? You can thank George W. Bush and Dick Cheney for that shit, because they did that after 9/11. FEMA's not running out of money because they're diverting it towards the border or for immigrants. They're out of money because Congress doesn't give them enough fucking money. If you're mad about the cap being set at $750 for emergency assistance, or that they're running out of money, call Congress. Take that fucking phone you recorded that shitty ass video on and call Congress. Call your senators, call your representatives, and let them know there needs to be supplemental emergency funding right now. There needs to be a disaster relief bill right fucking now. I would have loved to see this level of outrage and anger and righteous indignation 6 years ago, when it took Congress 12 fucking months to pass a disaster relief bill after Hurricane Michael. The way that some of y'all will just get on the internet and say absolutely fucking anything, it's wild to me. Do you think people aren't going to fact check you? Do you think that there are people who haven't fucking lived this before? I don't know what goes through y'all's heads. You're like posting these videos for money, for clout, for your own selfish reasons, to suckle at the H0t of some politician who doesn't give a fuck about you. They don't give a single solitary goddamn flying fuck about you. I cannot emphasize to you enough how much harm and damage you are doing by posting those things, saying those things, commenting those things, spreading that misinformation. You have no idea what these people are going through. You have no idea what the recovery looks like, because you have never been through it before. This is barely scratching the surface. And you don't know that because you haven't been through it before. There are aspects of this recovery effort I am struggling to wrap my mind around, and I've been through it before, like especially up in the mountains. This storm essentially flattened 5 different states: Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Florida. Like, the sheer magnitude of this storm, and for you to get on here and say things that are wholly unhelpful, spreading mis and disinformation that is causing irreparable harm, fuck you. So if you actually want to be helpful, call your senators, call your congressmen, and let them know FEMA needs more money right now. Let them know that they also need to change some of the parameters and who gets access to that money, because I can tell you there are some people who get denied for FEMA assistance. If you don't have any relevant, true, accurate, helpful information to share, shut the fuck up. That's a real easy one. And lastly, thank you to everyone who is actually being helpful, whether that's sharing or reposting accurate, truthful information, whether that's sharing information about organizations to donate to, whether you're donating money or supplies, or you're physically volunteering. Thank you to those of you who are being helpful in doing something that matters. It cannot be overstated how important that is and how thankful people who are going through it or have been through it before are.
If you come across videos of content creators on this app or other apps who are screaming and telling you that the federal government is only issuing those who have been totally devastated by Hurricane Helene, they're only giving those individuals $750. Those content creators are either ignorant and misinformed, or two, they are purposely misinforming you. The way that our government works is that Congress, which is the House and the Senate, controls the purse strings. Nothing gets approved without the approval of Congress, which is the House and the Senate. Before Hurricane Helene hit, Congress met and denied the request of FEMA for additional funding. The $750 that people are talking about is an initial payment. It's an automatic approval, unless you owe the federal government in some way, shape, or form. The $750 is to meet your immediate needs: groceries, gas, clothing. There are additional programs through FEMA that you must apply for to help you with other needs. I grew up in Florida. For the first 30 years of my life, I had to deal with FEMA because of hurricane damage that me and my family sustained as residents of South Florida. There is additional funding available through FEMA through other types of programs. Funding is available for those who have sustained major damage to their properties, need to relocate for a long period of time. But because of Republican congressmen and women, those funds are being quickly depleted because those representatives refused to provide additional funding. These are all of the House representatives and the senators who denied additional funding to FEMA. None of these individuals are Democrats. They are all Republicans who denied money to FEMA to help you, American citizens. All of them, Republican. And I want you to understand how insidious this is. They denied funding to FEMA and then decided to go on vacation in the middle of hurricane season. Joe Biden wants to call Congress back into session for an emergency so that they can provide funding to FEMA so FEMA can help you, American taxpayers. Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, a Republican MAGA, a contributor to Project 2025, said no. There was adequate funding provided to FEMA. That is a lie. FEMA has been grossly underfunded and has been desperate and begging for more money because of all of these storms that we have been having. For the love of God, please learn the different branches of government and what they are responsible for. President Biden and Kamala Harris are not in control of the purse strings. Congress is in control of the purse strings, and it is by design that they are holding funding at this point to the American citizens by way of FEMA. It is so they can blame President Biden and Kamala Harris for election reasons. It's a mind game. It's a game of manipulation. And all of you that are jumping onto your camera phones to record videos blaming Biden and Harris are playing into the games. There are 435 seats up for re-election in the House. There are, I forget how many in the Senate. Elections have consequences. If you are sick and tired of these MAGA politicians playing with your life, your livelihood, your happiness here in the United States of America, for the love of God, educate yourself and vote their asses out of office. Until we get to November 5th, hold their asses accountable. When you see Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert and Jim Jordan and Lindsey Graham and Tim Scott and Paul Gosar and Ted Cruz, when you see them all out there blaming Joe Biden and Kamala Harris for there not being any funding for those devastated by Hurricane Helene, ask them, why didn't they approve funding for FEMA? Ask them that. Hold them accountable. For the love of God, stop using your camera phones to show your ignorance of how our government works.
Listen to
Sean, this is the gravest betrayal of American citizens this country has ever seen. The reason why those Americans in North Carolina, those mothers, those fathers, those precious little children, were left to die, were left on rooftops begging their government for help that never came, is because Kamala Harris turned FEMA into an illegal alien resettlement agency.
Yes,
its manpower, its dollars, its resources, its mental energy was spent over the last 4 years learning how to do one thing: how to get illegal aliens from outside the country into your town. And so when disaster struck, they were not ready, they were not prepared, they were not capable, and they did not care. And our fellow citizens, including babies, children, young kids, were left to suffer and drown. They did not scramble the helicopters. They did not scramble the military. They did not send needed assistance. But if those children had been living in a foreign country, they've been living in Haiti, or they've been living in Venezuela, why then Kamala Harris would have sent in help immediately.
Yeah.
A betrayal like we've never seen before, Sean. This is infuriating.
You guys better wake up.
Sean, this is the gravest betrayal of American citizens.
Before we begin, I need you to read that very, very closely. Pay very close attention to the part where it says no Democrats voted against the bill. Look at it very closely. Here is the list. I'm not done. More of the list. I'm not done. Even more of the list. I'm not done. Even more of the list. I get it. This situation is very heartbreaking for a lot of Americans. I truly understand this. But I am really kind of getting tired of this narrative that somehow Kamala Harris knew this was going to happen and stole the FEMA money and gave it to a bunch of people to speak Spanish. I'm sick of that. I'm sick of it. Dead ass sick of it. So if y'all are going to point fingers, you need to point them at the right people. And I'm going to say this one more damn time. I'm going to say this one more time so that you and everybody in your little comment section can understand this. Y'all voted for these people. If you want to point at the federal government, fine. Who controls the purse strings? It is not Kamala Harris. It is Congress. And those 82 people I just showed you, senators and congressmen and congresswomen, they are the ones that literally voted against supplementing FEMA. They did. And I didn't even show you all of them. I just showed you the ones from the states that have been affected by Elena. Those are the people you need to be mad at. But I understand you won't, because civics in America suck. Learning truly what your government does and who is in control of what in your government is too hard. I just want to blame Kamala because I want to vote for Trump. I'm sick of that narrative. And that's just the people in the federal government. I'm not even talking about governors. I'm not even talking about state senators. I'm not talking about state Congress people. This narrative that y'all have built to try to spread and turn this into a partisan thing is disgusting. It is the sickest thing I've ever seen. And I've seen some sick shit out of you, out of people like you, out of people like Stephen fucking Miller. A disgrace. So if you're going to point fingers, point them in the right direction. Vote for whoever the fuck you want to. That is your right as an American citizen. But enough with these fucking videos trying to blame Kamala Harris because you just don't like her. You want to point at somebody? Start with those 82. Since you won't start with your governors, you won't start with your state senators, and you won't start with your state Congress people. You want to blame somebody? Blame the 82 in that list. God damn. This is why every adult American should be forced to go to civics class. Forced. It should be a requirement for you to work in the United States. You have to take a damn civics class. Because some of you are out here saying some stupid shit just to be saying it. God damn. Jesus Christ. Why do we have to keep carrying you people with us?
So this is all I got from this video, and man, the whole thing is just really crazy. This is very easy to understand, and I tried explaining this from the other video that I posted, you know, where the woman was asking how would people, okay, I think they were talking about how would people that already lost their phones and all that, how would they, like, you know, apply online to get their $750, right? Then how do you want the government to pay you? I just don't understand how some people do not use the initiative. It's just called number 6. Use your brain. That the government, let me start with this. The government cannot go around asking you, is your house affected? Then $750. You have to look for a way to apply for this to get it. Just understand this and know peace. Then back to what is happening. Now, I just do not understand how people are still calling Kamala Harris that she is the one that is doing this and that, when it is your congressmen and women. Hold your congressmen and women. And now I am also finding out that how come it took like 12 months for them, for them to vote? And now they know that a disaster is natural disaster happens. And I am sure they are part of the people that controls some certain things. And now they knew that a natural disaster was going to happen because it's been announced longer time that Hurricane Helene was going to come. And then they went on strike, or they went on holiday, or whatever they went on. Who does that? See, can we just understand that Kamala Harris is not the one? It is not Kamala Harris, right? And I also hear people saying that, that people are diverting the money that was supposed to be given to, the $750 relief, that they've diverted it. They are going to use it for migrants and all that. Can you people just stop already? Because some certain things are screaming people that are not listening to news or understand what is going on. I mean, one thing I hate about this thing, the whole thing happening, I hate the fact that it's coming during election, right? And everybody's also using it. Election period, people try as much as they can to use anything they can hold or anything they can find. They will use it against somebody. And this Hurricane Helene is another one. This is just like a good example of we are going to use this against her. And the fact that people mount cameras and start saying something that they are not very sure of is another one. Can we make our own research at some point? Because it's going to do you good. Because I really do not understand. See, the whole thing is really tiring. And sincerely speaking, I really cannot wait for this election to come. Because it's been going back and forth, and people are refusing to understand what is going on. I see a lot of people making videos saying that, Kamala Harris is using this. I don't understand it. See, like I keep saying, I am not endorsing anybody. Whoever you choose to vote, it's your problem, not my problem. I mean, it is your civil right, it is you selling your birthright or selling your vote out, but it is not my problem, right? But seeing things like this on the news, you can imagine somebody coming out to report something like this, FEMA spent more than $640 million on illegal claims. There is no money for hurricane response. Who told you people? It is also the money that, because how do you want them to get, if FEMA, it is the money that the FEMA gave that they are also giving out. Now, this is also one of the reasons why you all need to vote for your congressmen and women. Why I keep saying this, presidential election is very important, super vital, right? But I want you to know that you see those local ones, they are super vital because those locals can cripple your president. If only you understand what I am saying. So as you are voting for president, make sure you vote for your states and all that, the congressmen and the congresswomen. And now this is just a great opportunity. Lauren Boma, or what's her name is, Tim Scott, right? Ted Cruz. All of them are even on the list. I saw he is also part of the people that voted against. Oh my goodness. Marjorie Taylor Greene, all of them. So it is also your duty. So do not come at some people are going to continue screaming if you do not do anything. What is happening will keep happening. If you think what is going on, it's not good enough, change them. Vote. If not, Next year, we continue from where you stop. And one thing I want people to know that is hurricane comes literally every year. So if you think we're talking about Hurricane Helen, do not bother. Another one is also getting ready to happen. Because you all already know that hurricane happens. This is not the first or the second time. And it's going to continue to happen. So make sure you do what you are supposed to do. What am I supposed to say to people that come out, that mount camera and start calling people's name like things that are... When you look at the people, it is not you. When you look at the votes, I'm sure you saw the list of the people that voted, right? You also will know where they are coming from, the party that did that too. I am not going to call names. And I see a lot of you in the comment section looking for a way to, how am I the problem? When did I become the problem? Am I Kamala Harris, or am I Joe Biden, or am I Donald Trump? And why are some people telling me, why are you not? See, some people can really be ignorant. And I also appreciate you for coming to because I don't understand how you don't like somebody, what somebody is talking about, and you also come to write something about it. What I am going to tell you, and I will keep saying it, make sure if you think you do not like what is going on, you change, look for a way to change it. And how are you supposed to change it? By voting. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.